Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining Art and Culture Commission monthly meeting. Today is Thursday, May 19th, 2016. Roll call, please.
Commissioners Derhovanessian.
Here.
Deaver.
Here.
Oshvigan.
Yes.
Sahakian.
Here.
Chairperson Sharikian.
Yes.
The agenda for the May 19th meeting was posted on the bulletin board outside City Hall on May 16th, 2016.
Next item.
Item 2, consent items. At 2A, approval of regular meeting minutes from April 21st, 2016.
Any changes, anything on the meeting minutes?
I move approval.
Okay, there's
I'll
a
second.
motion. We have a second. Roll call, please.
Commissioners Derhovanessian.
Yes.
Deaver.
Yes.
Oshigan.
Yes.
Sahakian.
Yes.
Chairperson Sharikian.
Yes. Next item.
Item 3, introductions and presentations. At 3A, Library Arts and Culture events presented by Chuck Wyke, Community Relations Manager.
Good afternoon, Chair Sharikian, Commissioners, City staff. Once again, I have a number of I think, great events coming up at all our libraries this coming month. But I'll start out with an event that took place over last weekend where a number of library staff and every one of our commissioners was out looking at, not this, but the finished product. So this is the corner of Sonora and Glen Oaks. The large box to the right of the signal light was painted by this guy, Paul Juneau. So he set up there early in the morning, started working on it. Our library staff showed up. That's Hala Shanuda. She's one of our managers. We all got to take pictures. I don't know whose shot this is from a car. I don't know, but he was working very hard, and as you probably know because you met a bunch of them, the artists were all very, very happy to work on this. He says this is a self-portrait. That was his comment to me. This one, okay, this is up, the other one up in that neighborhood, this is at Grandview, and Kenneth, Arotin Hartunian. His box was chosen for that one really good reason. I think you'll see as this comes together. He drew a kind of a early 20th century depiction of the Mr. Brand's fly-in party, where all these guests are in there in their period dress. So it's a great location. It really fits in the neighborhood. I was really, really happy that he got this spot. And yes, some commissioners were there, along with Cindy. There's Ara. Did anybody else see this one? Terry made it there, yeah. Nice box, really nice box. This is the USC-UCLA rivalry. It's a house divided. Anahid is up there on Kenyatta. Here's a bunch of us down across the street from Glendale College, right at the GCC, the Civic Auditorium parking lot. And the gentleman on the right is a fairly well-known street artist named ZLA. That's his moniker, but he grew up in Glendale. He was very happy to do one of these boxes also. And across the street from that, Christina Leta had these 4 women on a box. I think that really shows up well. It's in the overpass, the bridge at the college. So we needed something light there. A lot of selfies were taken by Commissioner Sahakian. Fortunately for us, we're able to display some of those. This is right at the top of Verdugo Park, Ricardo Cerezo, I believe. Really striking when you drive by. It's bold and it's big, and you can really tell what it is. She didn't want to show her face, I guess. Valeria, I can't remember her last name, but she's got some roses that are going to come in on that. They're already up. Carla Verano. This box was actually run down by a motorist, so we were able to get Carla to come back and repaint it. that day, and she's up on Louise and Doran. Along with other library matters, the summer reading program begins this month. One very different component is that children and their parents will be able to join an online version of the summer reading program. So not just, you read a book, you go to programs at the libraries, but you can also sign up online, right? Or your parents can sign you up. It's real easy. You just keep track of your books on there. Maybe you go to a library program, you collect a little coupon that you can put into the system and you get more points. The Friends of the Library have provided prizes for all participants, children, teens, and adults. So everybody can participate. But that online system we think is going to be a real neat part of the program this year. Up at Brand Library, that base that guy's holding was built in Italy in 1704. That's David Young, is the principal bassist with the LA Opera. He'll be talking at the Brand Library on Saturday, June 4th, all about kind of behind the scenes as a musician with the opera. Annelle Gregory will be at the Brand Library on June 18th. That's part of the Brand Associates sponsored music series. You see, Brand 44, that's the Brand Associates Works on Paper. It's an annual juried exhibition. You can still send in your artwork up through June 17th, I believe. And that's on the website, brandlibrary.org. The curator this year in this juried exhibition is renowned 20th century artist Laddie John Dill. So, the Central Library renovation continues. I dropped this picture in for fun because I took another picture this morning, and that's it. That literally is it. They don't have the stairs on the right side, but, they've torn up so much on that, and there's a big fence there. But it is indeed front of the building now. I'm looking forward to that in about a year. We just, unfortunately, had to close the entire upstairs. So you can't get upstairs unless you're a child or a parent with a family. The children's room is open, library administration is open, but all the books and things, computers, we moved them downstairs. Magazines and newspapers, we moved them downstairs. So we're going to keep on keeping on with the renovation for another year. Part of that, kind of the growth and the renovation has allowed us to kind of get rid of some of the old furniture. So if you have friends who are not library employees or city employees, please tell them to come to the Central Library Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Friday at 10 o'clock, Saturday at 10 o'clock, Sunday at 10 o'clock. 3 days in a row, there's a big furniture sale. And that's sponsored by the Glendale Library Foundation. There's the dates, there's the times. Really, it's 10 o'clock. There's a pre-sale. All at the Central Library. And that's all going to take place on the second floor. There's a little contact information. If you have any questions, you can call the public desk, 548-2021, or look at the library website, glendalelac.org. Armenia and Open Wound continues through June 11th at the Brand Library. It's been very, very successful. We've been fortunate to have the exhibition. It's drawn a lot of attention. The staff tell me that folks from all over the valley are coming in. There was a nice piece on KABC television, and that spurred a lot of interest too. People who, I've lived in Glendale all my life, I didn't know, now they know. So they're coming to Brand Library. Both Glendale and Burbank schools have participated. There's been a number of tours, and they're still going on. Docent-led tours. Here's a bunch of students. Journey to the Homeland, we had a director. We showed a film and discussed things. Some of you may have been at that event. I really like this picture. It's the kind of the steering committee for the event, holding their cards right at Brand Library. And there's somebody I recognize right in the middle there.
This one's not a selfie, though.
No, it's not a selfie, unless you have a long
Technically,
pole.
it is a selfie.
There are a number of events still to take place up there, official events. May 19th, there's a virtual pilgrimage, the Armenian Heritage. That's tonight at 7 o'clock, May 19th. The curator will discuss illuminating the Armenian Middle Ages on May 26th, again Thursday at 7 p.m. Brand Library, Preserving the Past, Building the Future, the Role of Museums in a Changing World, Thursday, June 2nd, 7 p.m. And finally, on the 4th of June, Cambalache will bring their kind of East LA folk rock pop band to the Brand Library, and they will perform outside on a brand new stage that was made possible by the Glendale Arts and Culture Commission. So that new stage showed up earlier this week. I'll be going up to Brand and tearing it apart, putting it together tomorrow. Not just for this event, but also for the Brand Library Plaza series, which begins on Friday, June 3rd, and continues through the end of August, every Friday, 7 p.m. The first band will be Masanga Marimba, that kind of world music, African, Latin music, drums, percussion. Next, John Reynolds. He's a Glendale resident. He's an artist.
He's my neighbor.
Your neighbor. Very good. Ara's neighbor. He'll be there on June 10th. He puts on a great show. It's kind of 1920s music.
Great banjo player.
Yeah, he is a banjo player. He's got a nice trio. Vardan of Sepien will bring his quintet on June 17th. Modern music. He's a pianist. He's a composer. Really a fine musician. Very happy to have him. And at the end of the month, Homemade Jam. They're calling themselves Happy Time Jug Band Music. So it'll be eclectic, I'm sure, but they look like they have a good time. That's all the events through the end of next month. You do have a sheet with all that information on there.
Any questions, comments? Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, this is maybe part of my ignorance, but how much of the utility box program is online? I mean, so one of the discussions we had with Artun, I was at the Kenneth Village site, is that there's a big backstory to his box in terms of what happened in 1921. It's based on photos, based on these flights coming in.
Yeah.
Plus, he's got his own artistic life. You know, he goes to design center. So there's a lot of things that are associated with that work.
Right.
That I would think it would be great to highlight somehow, and if we could do something online. So the question is, what do we have?
We were able to push that out on Instagram and Twitter. A number of artists had little short profiles with links to their websites. So we got a little bit of that in there. I hope to go back some morning when it's sunny and take the final pictures of those boxes for the record. We'll get them on the website. They'll be on the map in a nice way, and we'll certainly try and highlight, especially our local artists. We've done the same thing now with Instagram and Twitter for the performance series. We're also sending that out with a clip of a video, the musician's video. So we're trying to incorporate some of that as much as we can.
Alex, to point out that our Open Studios tour, which is coming up in the fall, can also highlight our mural boxes. So we do, once that whole thing is finalized, we'd like to have those as part of the tour.
Yeah, I mean, is it possible to have at least a part of the website or a domain name specifically dedicated to this work? It seems to me it would be very interesting to have that.
We can certainly take a look at that and let you know what's possible within what we've budgeted for this and the staff activity that can be devoted to it.
Thank you. All right. Any other comments? Question? Okay. Thank you, Chuck.
Okay.
Next item.
At 3B, Ace Housing, Mike Fortney, Community Development and Housing.
Good afternoon, Arts and Culture Commission Chair. I don't want to mess this up. Sharikian, right? Yes. Okay. And commissioners, I'm Mike Fortney. I'm the housing project manager for the city. To give you an update on the Arts Colony, we number one, we changed the name. It's no longer the Glendale Arts Colony. It's called ACE 121 for short. That's Arts, Culture, and Entertainment at 121 North Kenwood. So, new name. Aside from that, though, the project hasn't changed. It's moving along very rapidly with construction. Probably closed construction in September, but it's all framed out. Windows, doors are in, insulation's in. In fact, interior units are being painted, and part of the exterior of the building's being painted now. So it's moving along pretty good. So I want to give you just an update on that, and then to tell you too, we thought we were going out for marketing about a month ago, and City Council wanted to take a second look at the preferences that we gave. We had given preferences for artists as well as people who live in Glendale and people who work in Glendale. So the item went back a couple of times to the Housing Authority, and the end result was nothing's changed. We'll still give 2 points to artists, 1 point to those who live in Glendale, and 1 point for those who work in Glendale. The only thing that did change was the Artist Selection Committee. You still have a member on the Artist Selection Committee. That didn't change. So the only change was Meta, who's the housing developer, has given their seat at that committee to the YMCA. So now the YMCA will have 2 persons on that 5-member selection committee. Aside from that, though, nothing's changed. As far as when the application is going to be available, I think maybe by the end of next week. We'll know a little bit better actually tomorrow, unfortunately. We're trying to finalize the tenant selection plan, the management marketing plan, the flyers, get the dates down. We want to have some dates for information to be passed out. People can understand what they need to present when they apply for the units. But I can tell you, walking through the units, it's going to be an amazing project. Really nice. So that's what I wanted to update you with. I wish I could give you a date when those applications are going to be due, but are available. But I think it's going to be late next week, if not early the following week. And we will, of course, be sending out. We have an interest list at the Housing Authority of thousands and thousands of people who are just generally looking for affordable housing. We will send it out to them, this one-page flyer. Meta Housing and their management company have listservs, artist listservs that they're going to be sending this out to. Plus, they also have an interest list that's got several hundred people on it. So the word will get out very quickly as soon as the application is available. And it'll be available online. We have a website, and I, of course, didn't write it down. Well, we have a website where they could be downloaded, but the YMCA gym facility will have hard copies of those applications, and that's where people can walk in and pick those up.
You mean Glendale YMCA?
The Glendale YMCA. Mm-hmm. Yeah, 140 North Louise.
Okay. Questions, comments? No questions? Okay. Go ahead, Sean.
I was just wondering, once the application does become public, what's the time period that we're allowing for applicants to submit?
What we did before, and what I think we're going to do again, is it's about a 30-day window from the day the applications are available to the day they need to be postmarked back to the management company. Okay. So we'll give a 30-day window.
Great.
And I just throw it out there. It doesn't matter if you're the first one. Doesn't matter if you're the last one. If you're in, you're in. You'll be part of the lottery process.
Yeah, I'm very happy to hear that the preferences didn't change. It got knocked around a little bit, but we're back where we started from, back on track. Very happy to hear that. Plus, so I wanted to ask about the selection committee. Is it? I mean, you have a certain grading system, which is pretty objective in terms of the artist. You get 2 points, this, that. What is the role of the selection committee in selecting who gets?
Okay, let me talk through that process. So we give two points for artists, 1 point for Glendale Live, 1 for Glendale Work. And there's some caveats to Glendale Work. If you're retired, you may get that point. Disabled, you may get that point. So anyway, all those applications go to the management company that Meta Housing has subcontracted with. They are tasked with the Live point and the work point. And they're tasked with putting these applications in the appropriate pools. Those who say are claiming the 2 points for artists, all of those applications, once they're already screened by the management company for income, we don't want the art selection committee to have to look at a bunch of applications that would just fall out anyway. So they'll be screened for income. If they do that, all those applications will go to the art selection committee. And the artist selection committee will simply say yes or no, this person is an artist based on what they submitted. They do not rank one type of art over another type, or one artist is better than another artist. You either get the 2 points or you don't. And it's all based on what was submitted. And there's further criteria. I don't have it in front of me, but there's further criteria as far as, length of time since this person has been involved in the arts, things of that sort. There's
track record. You have to have a track record that you're involved in the art somehow.
Yeah, right.
To get in, yeah.
Right. And there's a questionnaire on the application that really goes in depth on not only that, but how you will further the arts once you're selected, once you're in the building. And again, the artist definition is broadly defined to include folks who promote art and those who teach art. So it's a pretty broad definition.
Any other questions?
As far as income, when you are screening, the artist might have a spouse or kids who are living with them. Mm-hmm. So do you take the income of the family or the income of the artist?
The income of the family.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. And so we're targeting, I don't have the exact numbers here either, but we're targeting 30, 40, 50, and 60% of area median income. So depending on your family size, depending on the unit size, your income could be different ranges, and then the rents that you might pay would be different as well. But like a one-bedroom would go for, I think, a little under $500 a month. And I think the most expensive three-bedroom would be $1,400 a month. So, which is roughly a third what they'd go for on the market.
Sounds good. Go ahead.
At what point does the lottery system come into play? Is that on the front end, or is that after everybody's been qualified, or where does that fit?
Yeah, once we've got the points determined, the folks with 4 points will do a lottery on those. And I doubt we're going to fill 69 of the 70 units. So then we'll go to the folks that have 3 points, and we'll do a lottery on those, and just kind of keep going down the line like that. But it's not until we have the points assigned that we can do the lottery. And we don't want to do a lottery on the full, because I mean you work your way down through the priority list, and you get to people with no preference points, which means they're just income qualified. They neither live in Glendale, work in Glendale, or they're not even an artist, so they have 0 preference points. We don't want to do a lottery on that big pool necessarily. If we could fill the building and have a sufficient waiting list before getting to that point, there's no point in doing that lottery.
And the lottery the point system I know is a little bit complicated, so just so I'm clear. So somebody who's an artist who also lives and works in Glendale essentially would have all 4 points, would be in that first pool. Somebody
Yes.
who is just an artist but doesn't live or work in Glendale, or somebody who lives and works in Glendale would be equal with 2 points each, and they would be in a pool as well?
Yeah. The lottery is for the artists with 2 points and the persons that both live and work in Glendale. It may be a different lottery, but they have the same points.
Okay. So they're essentially in the same pool in terms of prioritization or preference.
Yeah, in terms of the points that they have.
And okay. And then also I know that earlier, and maybe this is still happening and I wasn't fully listening, there was going to be an outreach process with the artists to help them understand the application process. And also I'm curious about the training on the management side. And I know Meta has worked in this arena before, but just to clarify, so because sometimes artists have like residual income from work that sometimes can be difficult for a property management company to income qualify, and so they kind of don't get into some affordable housing projects, even regionally, because it's complicated. So is there a process in place to help both the management company understand artist income and for artists to understand the process and what they need to provide? Yeah,
it's and of course everything that the management company does in terms of the income qualifying has to be confirmed by staff here, so there'll be some learning for us to do as well. But we've been doing it for a long time. Not artists necessarily, but just income qualifying in general. We'll have artists that apply to all of our projects. We'll have, you get somebody with a salary $1,500 a month. It's really easy to figure that one out. But we handle very complicated applicants in the past, so I don't think it's going to be much different. As far as outreach to the artists, we are trying to set up 4 or 5 meetings to the public. Artists would be invited. Anybody would be welcome, so long as there's capacity in the room. We don't have the dates and times nailed down yet. Otherwise, I would have brought that with me. But it's looking like all those meetings are going to be at the Adult Rec Center. But I don't know the dates and times just yet. So, but those meetings will walk people through. Normally, we don't have these meetings. We just, applications available, fill them out. But this application has this artist questionnaire and all these things, and it's going to require the artists to submit samples. So it's important to have these outreach meetings so that they know exactly what they need to submit, because they don't submit sufficient material to show that they are an artist, it'll be too late. That's their shot to do it. So it's important to have those meetings.
Right. And not to belabor the point, because I know there's a lot of folks that have independent incomes that you're probably dealing with. Is that kind of what you're talking about? You're talking about complications of people qualifying. So, for instance, somebody who's did a movie and they're getting a residual payment and they get this one check. Sometimes they'd be like, oh, well, we're going to assume that you're going to get that every month now. And they're like, I get it once.
Right.
Yeah, so that type of...
Yep. Yeah, we have to deal with that. There's also assets, believe it or not. If your assets are worth X amount, we have to apply a percentage of that and call that income. It's actually pretty complicated.
Yeah. And then, so on that note, you mentioned the outreach. Are you guys working with our arts and culture library staff in terms of reaching out to artists specifically on our lists and through our outreach?
It was my understanding before that Meta Housing had done that, but I'll follow up with Sharon to make sure that's being done.
Okay.
Any other questions?
I'd like to add that the website is ace121glendale.com.
Okay.
Thanks. And that is live now, the website. It doesn't have the application on it just yet, but it is live.
Also, I'd like to add that this program will get a lot of media attention. I think it's going to be definitely in the artist trades and something that's very much coverable by the arts media. So I think the word will definitely get out. I think we're going to have an avalanche of applications. I hope we do.
I'm sure.
Thank you, Mike.
Oh, yeah.
And good luck.
All right, thank you.
All right. Next item on the agenda.
At 3C, Keppel Visual and Performing Arts Magnet School, Joan Zierhut.
We are Team Joan today. Good afternoon, Commission. Thank you for having us. I am the principal of Mark Keppel Elementary School. My name is Christine Siegel, and this is...
I'm Kelly Worley, the assistant principal.
We would like to thank the library for the opportunity to display some very cool things that Mrs. Zierhut has worked with our students. I don't know if you had the opportunity. These sculptures were actually, displayed up at Glendale Community College in their library for a while, and then they came back to our school. And starting Saturday, they are going to be displayed in the public libraries in Glendale. And there are about 40 of these sculptures, and I'm going to let Mrs. Zierhut and the children tell you more about them, but we're excited about the opportunity.
Go ahead.
Hi, thanks again. I'm actually going to let Sean do the talking. Okay. That's what he does best.
Well, these sculptures, we took quite a while making them because we actually had to put saran wrap around a person, and then we had to put multiple layers of tape over the wrap, and we only did 1 or 2 body parts per day, and we only got 1 day of art every week. So, well, we did, and so we took about a month or two to finish these sculptures, and a lot of hard work went into them. And as Mr. Hutt was saying, they were displayed at Glendale Community College in their library, and we got them back, I think, for open house. That was last Wednesday.
It was, yes.
Yeah, and now, yeah, that's all I have to say.
Thank you. Good job.
Oh, I'd like to say something, because besides just the art, the kids worked in teams, and it was all our 4th and 5th graders. They had to come up with a plan and a design of what they'd like to create, and then they presented their ideas to Mrs. Worley and or myself, and then we asked them questions like, do you think it's feasible for that, and what's going to happen with the children, because we did display them at school for one day, and so we talked about not having too many in the same place, and they had some great presentations, and they were quick on their feet to come up with answers. So it was more than just the art, and it was a lot of working together and collaborating, and they're pretty cool.
Good job. Any other?
Is there any more questions?
Yeah, I would like to ask, what was the theme? Because I see there are different body movements. So besides the art and learning how to do the sculpture, was there a special thing for the body movement that I see?
We studied installation art and talked about site-specific, so thinking about where they wanted to put their art pieces and how they could get them there and whatnot. And then we studied this one artist named Mark Jenkins, who actually came up with this technique of making these sculptures. So we talked about that, and then, like she said, the kids all got together and they made up their own individual designs, and then they had to talk to each other about their designs and just vote on a design. Once we broke into groups, and it was mostly about what they wanted to represent on campus. That was something that was important to them. So we had a lot of kids reading books. We had a lot of kids standing and painting. We had a Spider-Man. We had somebody in a timeout table, which was my favorite. It was just so hysterical. And a lot of them playing on the 3rd level. And they were just, there was one that was watering the garden, because we have this little garden club that they, so they went and did the packing tape around an actual watering can. So it was what they wanted to present, like what they as a group felt, just represented their activities at the Keppel campus. So that was pretty much it.
All I can say that the proportions are great. Besides the fact that they have learned the technique, they're great. Yes, it's a math. It's a concept of size and proportions, which they have done very well. I'm very proud of our Keppel. I'm a home-based Glendalian myself, and I've always been proud of our district, but Keppel has done fantastic with their art and whatever they're doing for our community. Thank you very much. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I wanted to say I'm very proud of my kids. Go to Keppel. They're in 3rd grade, and it's not only the 4th and 5th grade who did the work, but there was. I'm Sean and Arden's dad. You guys know the twins? Yeah.
No way.
Yes.
I walk home with them pretty much every day.
Yeah, they constantly.
Your mom that walks them home, or your wife's mom?
Yeah, I usually walk them home. Yeah, I walk them to school, and my grandmother, their grandmother picks them up.
Yeah, I walk back with them.
Oh, do you really?
And
okay.
I'm friends with John Reynolds as well.
Okay. This is my neighborhood. Today is my neighborhood.
Yeah, totally.
But besides the work that the 4th and 5th graders did, there was a lot of talk in my household about the sculptures that you guys had put out on the campus. So it's not only them, but the whole campus is affected, and now the whole city is being affected by this work. So I'm really happy to congratulate you, and I love it that my kids are at Keppel. And
I love your
beautiful.
kids. Your boys are so amazing. They're like one of them or both of them are in the gardening club, and they're just like every day coming in like, we'll take care of the PR and we'll take care of this. Slow down. But they're great kids.
Thank you.
Well, thank you
Any
very
other
much.
comments?
I just throw my 2 cents in, and thank you so much for sharing this with us. I've been hearing about it but hadn't seen it in person, and it's such a great. You guys should all be really proud of yourselves for doing this, and I hope this kind of model even goes into the other schools. Right, this is just such a fantastic multi-dimensional learning type of project, and just fun all around. And maybe you guys can come back and teach us how to do it sometime.
Just so you know, we didn't put saran wrap and tape over
heads.
We did have
Safety
scrams.
first,
Everybody's
all.
like, well, how did you do that? And we're like, I'm not telling.
It
I
was
wanna
scary
add-
to walk into the art studio when this was happening. There are mannequin heads, there's people hanging. It was like, okay.
I would like to add also that I see the group effort where the kids talk about it, discuss issues, and they come with a result. That's a process itself, which is amazing. That's the vision and how they accomplish their dream. I also have a question to John. Did you have a model or a sister, a brother, or somebody that you looked at it and start to design your sculpture?
Well, actually, we wrapped them and taped around them. We didn't just watch them and make the sculptures. We actually had to wrap them up in tape.
Sounds good.
About the models.
And the models, they had to stay in a certain position for it took a long time. Yeah.
Sounds great. That's excellent. Very good job. We're very proud of you guys. Thank you very much.
So much. We appreciate
Sorry.
Can I say one more? I hope, because Keppel is the only elementary school in Glendale that is a art magnet school. So please do come and share your work with the community. We are welcome at any of our meetings and present what you guys do, because I'm so proud of you guys and I want the whole world to know about it.
Thank you.
Thank you. We will.
Thank you. We'll be back.
Thank you. Good job, guys.
Thank you.
All right. Next item on the agenda.
At 3D, North Glendale Beautification, Jacqueline Bartlow, Economic Development.
Good afternoon, Chair, Sharikian, Commissioners, and staff. It's kind of tough following that group. My name is Jackie Bartlow with the Economic Development Department, and I'm here to give a quick update on the City Welcoming Sign Project for Foothill Boulevard. First, I'd like to give a little bit of background. In November of 2011, the City Council adopted the North Glendale Community Plan after many months of visioning, workshops, open houses, and community meetings that included just about every city department and a 32-member advisory committee. The North Glendale Community Plan is a part of the city's general plan and is a guide to development within the neighborhood and commercial areas of North Glendale. Part of this plan calls for streetscape, landscape, and intersection improvements. It states that consideration should be given to enhancements within the right-of-way, including limited raised landscape center medians at entry points to Glendale, which is at Pennsylvania Avenue and Laurel Avenue. Over the last couple of months, or the last couple of years actually, several of the advisory committee members approached the city about accomplishing some of the goals set out in the community plan, more specifically the entry signage. About a year and a half ago, I began working with a small group of community stakeholders to develop the project. As the signage idea was being discussed, the committee thought that the community should design the community should design the sign, and so we did that via a contest. So together we prepared a creative brief that shared the North Glendale Community Plan's vision statement, provided key points, the target audience, and design parameters of the sign, as well as a selection criteria. We then sent out a call for artists for designs. The selection criteria that was used was evaluation of artistic excellence, including quality of the art and artistic originality, creative and innovative concepts in relationship to the theme, and appropriate regard for the nature of the space and the audience. So as a result of the call of artists, there were over 60 artists that showed interest, and we had 5 that submitted applications with designs. The designs had to increase awareness and clearly identify Glendale, be creative and reflect quality, and represent the community feel of the North Glendale area. The winning design was chosen by an independent panel represented by the community. And the artist is Dave Gallagher. He is a longtime resident of North Glendale, and he works for the County of Los Angeles as a landscape architect. The design you can see there Mr. Gallagher is using, and I'm going to use his words, gently curved concrete as the main material, which represents the ridge line of the Foothill Mountains, mid-century brick on the lower left portion, and then river rock on the lower right side. And then as you can see also, you'll see a little bit of river rock on the side, and that would be part of, say, an island that we would create to house the signage. I've included a couple handouts for you, which is that design there, as well as a recent article, which was published yesterday by the Glendale News Press. We also have Sherry Stubbs. She's one of the committee members. She's here today. She's also a member of the Crescenta Valley Community Association. So that concludes my presentation. And I know Sherry Stubbs also has a couple items she'd like to share with you as well. So if you could come on up.
Yes, my name is Sherry Stubbs. I live in far north Glendale. And so this project has been close to my heart, so to speak. I was on the North Glendale Community Plan Advisory Committee to get it put in place. Once it was in place, we need to start implementing. So this is a first step toward that. As a member of the committee on the entry marker project and selection, I can say that we are very pleased with Mr. Gallagher's design. It incorporates all the elements reflecting the character of far north Glendale. It is smart, it is sleek, it's stylish, and it's classic, yet also rustic, with the stone and rock elements included. The entry markers are in keeping with the implementation of the North Glendale Community Plan and will be a welcome, attractive, and appealing addition to Foothill Boulevard and the surrounding community. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions? Yes.
I wanted to ask for, it's a great idea, fantastic work. Since it has to do with the art, is there any kind of contact with our department, our commissioners, anybody from this board sitting on it as far as the aesthetic value of what is being presented? Because I remember when Commissioner Oshagan joined us at the beginning and there were different decorative items in the city of Glendale, and he was concerned that, some people might like it, some people might not, or whatever, but did they even approach the Art and Culture Commission as far as, because that is basically, I suppose, our kind of part of our duty, we assume. Maybe we are wrong, but wanted to see if anything in that nature was done.
Well, what we did was send out the creative brief, which we've somewhat modeled after briefs that have been put out by the Arts and Culture Commission through Chuck Wyke. Since it was a contest, we basically allowed for the artists to contribute how they saw fit. So that's pretty much the reason why it didn't come before you prior to now.
Because anything of that nature kind of sort of either is or it's expected to be kind of brought to, even people who do contests within our city, like even schools, they bring their projects, the finalists, and then kind of the commission makes a choice. I want to see if it could be part of the criteria or not.
No.
Well, I'd just like to say that I used to work in economic development, and now I'm in libraries, arts, and culture, and I think with my addition to the department, there'll be a much more cohesive relationship between the two departments from now on. I think that I was on the early discussions of this, and frankly, I didn't think about contacting the Arts and Culture Commission about it. It was something that came down from City Manager's office. We needed to respond to the community quickly because they were becoming impatient. And so going forward, we definitely will be sure to incorporate arts and culture and anything going on in the city as much as possible.
And I'd have to say that we were actually unaware of your role as it relates to entry signage, and we became aware actually after the process was completed. So I do apologize for that.
Thank you.
Go ahead, though.
Yeah, and so we are also able to give you resources. For instance, we can send that out to a big list of artists and people who may be interested in contributing and being part of the process itself. So it would be a relationship where we help you with resources, and then we become somehow part of the process, because we feel like our commission should have at least some awareness of all the public art that's happening in Glendale. I think it's important for the city to have sort of a cohesive, coherent approach to public art. And so I think working together is really important. I'm very happy that Sharon is from your commission, and so hopefully in the future we can work together more closely and help each other. We're all here to help each other make Glendale a more beautiful art-laden. Is that a good art-laden city?
And we did actually send out, our call for artists actually went through your organization, through Chuck Wyke, as well as through the various publications and various other artist groups. So, but we definitely will make sure that in the future that we develop that relationship and work very closely with you.
Thank you very much for stopping by. Great. Good work.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I think your next presentation here will be a really fresh example of the fact that we do intend going forward to work together as much as possible.
Next item. Go ahead.
At 3E, Tech Week, Jennifer McLean, Economic Development.
Well, good afternoon, Chair Shurikian and commissioners and staff. I think in the spirit of cohesion and collaboration, I'm very excited to discuss with you the Glendale Tech Week. This is an idea that is still in the process of implementation, and I'm actually here today to discuss with you how we might be able to collaborate on Tech Week. So I'm Jennifer McLean. I work as Principal Economic Development Officer in Economic Development, Sharon's previous role. And let me tell you a little bit about Glendale Tech Week. Right now, Economic Development has started a process of trying to identify what type of tech businesses are within the city of Glendale. The ultimate point behind it is we want to establish an ecosystem here, but it's hard to know where you want to go without knowing what you currently have here. So we hired a consultant. They're doing this study to really even define, well, what are we talking about when we discuss tech? So as they're working on this study, we also want to implement some programming ideas as well. And one of these is through Glendale Tech Week. We're looking at doing this the week of September 12th, and this would be a 4-day event really in an effort to try to highlight the ecosystem that's currently here within innovation. And what we're talking about is trying to highlight innovation within the creative industries in entertainment, art, music, media, film, retail, and design, and then to also tap into some of our emerging technologies. These are in the areas of healthcare, just generally startups, and finance. So what the goal is to host about 20 different events throughout the city. Some of these would be city-hosted events, receptions, for example, at CBRE, or we have another reception that we're working on to host at the Museum of Neon Art. We want to have these elements of receptions and networking, but we also want to infuse some educational components in there as well. What we're asking of our businesses, of our nonprofits, of our commissioners, is to see if there might be an opportunity to host, whether it's panels or perhaps a business wants to open up their site for an office tour or a brown bag lunch. So it's an open call to the folks within Glendale that might have some connection to innovation. So at this point, we're really looking for ideas and hoping to empower folks and to perhaps come up with an idea and say, you know what, we do have some innovation in art. We have a group of panelists that might just want to participate in this. Economic Development can help find an appropriate venue for you, or we'd also invite you to find venues on your own. Ultimately, we would help in getting the word out. We would try to market this. Our goal, again, is to host 20 events and to attract 1,000 people. Now, we feel like we're starting a bit from scratch, but we started sort of a soft launch, so to speak, with this effort. We started this new meetup called Glendale Tech on Tap, very informal discussion at Moose Den to try to, again, bring speakers to share their stories on innovation. So if you're not quite sure what you're getting yourself into, you're welcome to join us on Glendale Tech on Tap just to see how that goes. We have our next one scheduled for June 8th with John Kraft. He's a former CEO of Pandora. That might also be a wonderful opportunity to plug in some innovation in art. And I'm sure you have some other wonderful ideas that we're not even thinking of. So with that, I'm happy to answer any questions, but we are really hoping for your collaboration in this.
Well, first of all, thank you for stopping by and reporting this information. We do have a master plan that we are working on. This is something we will definitely consider to work with you guys and to have a general, larger plan that will include your work, your department with our commission. But as an open questions, if anybody wants to add something. Yeah, go ahead.
I would like to thank you, first of all, because we are all one as far as all the different departments and etc. The idea that you came to share and you have invited the commission to be part of is not a new thing, but it's a great thing. So thank you very much. It's a great idea, and I'm sure we'll be collaborating with you because that's why we are here.
Thank you. And I'm sorry, I wish I could take the credit, but actually Sharon was kind enough to invite us here today, so you can already see how that relationship is working out.
So Sharon, thank you. You're doing a great job.
Well, first, we've worked together in the past, and I just want to congratulate you on all your work. I mean, as a city, I'm very excited. I come from the tech world, so I'm very excited that the city is focusing on growing the tech and also kind of embracing the tech that's already here, the tech industry overall. I mean, first, as a commission, I think the fact that we're going on to look for an consultant who's going to be identifying potential opportunities for public art. And I think we've had public forums before where we invited the community to discuss that. And I can definitely see us doing one that focuses more on public art and tech and how we can bring innovation and technology into our public art and public spaces. So I think that would be a great, and I know Aura's Commissioner Oshagan has had a lot of experience in this area.
Look at
so he actually, I think right before I joined the commission, he did a great presentation that on this exact topic, and I think it would be a great integration of the two parties.
Thank you.
So we should report that we had a sort of an informal meeting. Was that what it was, Sharon? We had
we had an informal conversation. I call it more brainstorming than anything else. We had gotten together to discuss pop-up arts, which is Commissioner Oshagan and Commissioner Deaver are on the committee for that, and this came up within that conversation. And so, of course, the three of us are brimming with ideas with how we can get involved in this tech week because tech art is so amazing and so spectacular right now. So we did brainstorm on some things that we can do, and what we'd like to do is come back to this commission when we have a solidified plan to present to you all.
If I could just go ahead.
I have a question. Do we have any type of deadline or any target date?
So with the event being scheduled the week of September the 12th, we would like to try to solidify the schedule perhaps a month beforehand. So that would be sometime in August. Okay. But quite honestly, part of this, I think, is we want to offer up some fluidity to the process and make it feel as organic as possible. It would help to know what the event is at least a month beforehand in an attempt to try to get more folks and get the word out to people.
Okay.
So one of the things from that brainstorming session that came out is that I think we're definitely going to do a panel. I think for one of those 20 events, or this we're going to suggest to our commission that this is what we'd like to do. Do it, bring artists who do art and technology and have them present their work. At the very least, I think maybe even two if we can wrangle enough people together. And then part of the discussion is to actually maybe do some actual art during that week or part of that on a larger scale and with overlapping with that week. So I think it's a great place for us to collaborate. We really appreciate that.
That would be
working
wonderful.
in that direction together.
Excellent. Well, in case you can't see that, my eyes are wide with excitement right now. And I failed to mention as well, we're looking at tying this into the Open Arts and Music Festival on Saturday as well. So that might be yet another opportunity to incorporate some of the public or some of the demonstrative art or just consider that as well.
So quick question. So you talk about the target audience of about 1,000 people that you're hoping will be in attendance during those 4 days. Can you kind of clarify kind of who that target audience is?
So we imagine that about 50% of it would be folks who are living or working in Glendale. And then the surrounding or the remaining 50% would be folks that are living near or working near Glendale. So we've just, again, used this Glendale Tech on Tap as an experiment to see what types of people are coming and where they're traveling from. So that's generally where I'm getting those figures. We saw folks traveling in from West Hollywood, from LA, from Silver Lake, from Atwater Village. And we imagine that we would get a draw as well from Pasadena, given their established ecosystem within innovation as well.
And these are folks that are involved in innovative technologies currently in all the different forms that you had mentioned at the beginning of your presentation.
That's right. So you can hear, at this point, it's still we're casting a very wide net. And we want to, it's difficult right now because we're not exactly sure without seeing the study yet what we're very strong in and what we want to be stronger in. So some of this is we're going off of gut on what we see, what types of businesses are here, and the types of programming that the community is already responding to. So if folks are already responding very well to art and knowing that we are so strong within the creative industries, we see that as a really natural jumping off point. So I wish I can answer your question more directly, but some of this is it's a wait and see. Sure. And we're all optimistic. We feel like this is a startup of our own, and it's very exciting.
And what was the date? So it was June 6th is the next meetup? Is that?
It'll be June 8th.
June 8th.
At the Moose Den from 5 to 7 p.m. featuring John Kraft. And it's free. We have a meetup. And I can go ahead and send that information to Sharon to get to the commissioners. But moving forward, if the commission has any ideas as well on folks as a speaker, we would love to feature you as a speaker or feature whoever you have in mind as well.
Sounds great. Well, we would definitely work with Sharon, and we'll let her know so we have a group project going on. And of course, Ada and Terry will be helping us at the same time. But thank you for coming and presenting this subject. Thank you very much.
My pleasure. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, next item we have oral communication. I have one card. Yvette Davis.
Good afternoon, everybody. I hope you're doing well. I'd like to invite everybody. We are having the Glendale Sunrise Rotary Club. Don't say anything, Sean. We are presenting the Festival of Arts. I have some posters here and flyers as well. That's going to be Saturday, June 25th at Central Park on Colorado between 9 and 6. We are inviting local artists of all types of mediums, ceramics, painting, photography, all different mediums, to come by, and we have tables available for $150 each. Artists can sell their wares and they keep all their profits. And again, this is for the Glendale Sunrise Rotary, so all the proceeds do go for us doing different charitable events around the community and stuff. Again, I have some posters. I can email to you guys any of the information that you like. And I'd also like to ask if you can pass the word out to the utility box painters. I think this would be a great opportunity if they have art and stuff that they like to sell or display at the event. Again, that's Saturday, June 25th. This is the Glendale Sunrise Rotary event. We are throwing that together, so we need a call out for artists. We have artists from Silver Lake, Atwater, but we'd like to get a lot of Glendale artists represented as well. That's about it, I think, off the top of my head. Any questions?
If there are anybody interested for renting a table, is this the email address?
Yes, Yvette at countinghouseca.com.
Okay.
Yes.
And so so it's artists presenting their work and selling their work?
Yes.
Essentially, it's kind of that kind of a festival? Is there workshop? Is there anything interactive, workshops?
We're going to have some live music there as well. There may be, we are one artist that we are talking to, because there's a few of them. They might have a photo booth with just kind of costumes and stuff, so they have people there. I'm trying to talk to a particular purple-haired lady to come by and do some face painting and stuff, but we're going to have a lot of different activities. We're speaking with the clay artist that was at the Taste of Glendale to come have some activities with the kids and stuff. So this is mostly for an arts festival, but it is also a community event, so there will be a lot of different things. There will be a great food caterer there as well. So just for a great day, come see great artists, listen to some great music. Should be fun. will be fun.
Any other questions?
No, just thank you for coming and presenting the event. Definitely encourage the community to join you. I will be there as well, although I'll just hide my Kiwanis badge while I'm up here. Just curious, what types of ways? So is it the artists and the different booths that will be selling things, and that's kind of how the proceeds will go back to Rotary, or?
The proceeds, this is for artists to sell their stuff, so we're trying to help the artists make some money for themselves. Our proceeds are just their table fee. We don't take a commission off the artist or anything. This is going to be our commission. Our fee will be just the table fees that we're collecting. We're keeping the cost low so we don't have to pass anything on, so we can start this into a giant community event every year.
All right. Yes, go ahead.
Do you have a website or a Facebook presence or just something online as well, just for your organization and for this event?
The Glendale Sunrise Rotary does have a website. We do have Facebook. We are putting together I had a Facebook event. If you'd like to give me your information, I'd invite you to that as well. We don't have a website just yet, but I can get somebody to put someone together. No, but I mean, we're working on getting that together. Not at this moment, but any information. It's pretty, very straightforward. $150 for a 10 by 10 space. People ask what type of art. PG-13 kind of art. This is kind of community. Set up between 6 and 9 a.m. Event is from 9 to 6 p.m. And we need a lot of talented artists. I know our city has a lot of artists, so I'd like to invite all of them.
I would like to say thank you, a big thank you, because you're doing an admirable job in many directions. Both, it is good thing for helping different organizations, supporting and promoting artists. You are kind of aligning with us. Thank you very much. It's a great job. I wish other organizations would also chip in and participate, because this is a great cause in many directions. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And remember, this is the Rotary.
Thank you for your presence. Thank you.
And I have some posters. I'll leave some flyers here for anybody who's interested.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We also have another card from Charity Show, Susan Jacarl.
Thank you. I'm sorry I was late. I was trapped in Anaheim about an hour ago, and thank God that Shant reminded me of today. But I am a member of Kiwanis Club of Glendale, and as such, I am the advisor to the K-Kids program at Verdugo Woodlands Elementary. And what I do there is teach kids about service leadership, how to run a meeting, and they elect their own board. They learn how to do community service, and this year I wanted them to make some collaborative art and do a charity show. And I was lucky to know Kendall Young, Kendall Young, who owns Diggs in Montrose, and she said she's going to open it up for a gallery space. So Friday, June 3rd, we're going to have our first ever K-Kids charity art show. The kids already voted that all the money is going to go to Pasadena Humane Society. So we're asking for a $1 donation for people that are entering. Diggs is located right above Honolulu at, 3819 Ocean View Boulevard on the west side of Ocean View, just above Honolulu, and it's going to be from 4 to 6 p.m. And we're asking for a $1 donation for entrance. You'll get a little keepsake button. So far the kids have made about 15 works of art, most of it collaborative. Some are just pieces that the kids themselves made and donated. So, I feel really strongly about this. I want the kids to know that they have a say and they can do wonderful things with their talents. So that's about it. Thank you.
Any questions?
It's great. Thank you. I was looking for your detailed address.
Yes.
I just want to compliment you about the program that you're running, teaching the kids how to serve the community.
Oh, yeah.
And how to run democracy, for example, electing and doing that part. That's a very interesting concept for
we
kids.
have actually one piece that I made them. I actually forced them to write if they could vote. Why would they vote? So somehow I'm going to incorporate that into the show. So yeah, I mean these are wonderful, wonderful kids. So
sounds great.
And thank you for all you guys do. Thank you, Shant. I would like to take a selfie with you, but this meeting's really long. I have to go pick up my kid. So all right, thank you.
But thank you for presenting. And Susan was honored earlier this morning by the Glendale Latino Association for her community service. And there's another great example of that. And she hasn't skipped a beat. But congratulations. Looking forward to the charity art show.
Thanks.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, next item on the agenda.
Item 5, business agenda at 5A. Action item at 1, appointment of 2 commission members to assist staff with interviewing and selecting a consultant for the public master plan.
As you know, we have...
I was just going to say good afternoon, Chair Shurikian and members of the commission. I've enclosed a very short report, basically asking the chair to appoint 2 members for selection to assist staff in selecting a consultant for the public art master plan. We have received 4 very good submissions, and we believe that we can select someone from the field of submissions that we have. So we'd like to proceed with forming the selection committee and moving forward.
As we know, as you guys know, we have discussed, or you guys trusted me, so I can assign or appoint 2 people. So I did. I assigned Commissioner Sean Sahakian and myself to go next to help to interview and select 2 firms and bring it up to the meeting.
Well, with that instruction, we'll go right ahead and proceed with scheduling. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, and next item on the agenda. Any comments? Yes.
I can start. Well, we had, as you saw, the utility box. It was a great hit. Lots of people are contacting us from all over talking about it and trying to get on board for next year. And I said, well, you need to wait to see if we will budget it and etc. So that's fantastic. And I was very proud of the way all of our staff pitched in and commissioners to take care of it. The next thing that I would like to talk about is, about the Brand 44. It has gained a kind of an international kind of a position. So entries are coming from all over. So it's a major function. So that is another important thing. Third thing, I would like to thank Chuck for the presentation that he had about the library, because I've always said that being with Glendale Unified School District for 20 years and being a counselor for so many years, I've seen what library does for all the people, because it is home to a lot of families who are new. It helps them with reading. It helps them with computer science. It helps them in every direction to educate and acculturate our community. So thank you very much, Chuck, for the great presentations that you always do, and also the great lectures that happens in our library. It is phenomenal. Most of the community, they bring from all over. It explains about so many things that happens in the world and in our community, and that's great. The last thing, I have to share with you something which I had a dream last night. Not like Martin Luther King, but it was a real dream because I had a little accident in the kitchen, so that kind of spiked up the thing. And in my dream, I was seeing the hills and the mountains around Glendale being on fire. And it brought the horror. It was a nightmare because I remember how bad it was. And when that was over, we were all cheering our fire department people, and when we saw the fire engines and all that, but then we take it for granted and it's gone. So I would like to thank our fire department also because of my dream last night. That's all I can say.
Thank you, Arlen.
They're working overtime.
They do. They're like heroes, you know.
Summer, they may.
They were short of people hugging them and kissing them in the street on Montrose thing when we saw them, because, you know, we take things for granted. You know, I remember how it was scary because we live in an area that the mountains were quite close, and we were worried that any second that we would lose all of our life to it and all of our life achievements and whatever we have put together to live. So, you know, so thank you. Thank you. Okay.
I just want to note from the utility box paint out that we had on Saturday that just, I didn't mention it earlier, but just that it was such a phenomenal experience to be able to get out there and to see the interaction of our public with the artists. That's something that I don't know that everybody always thinks about. They recognize that there's this beautiful art that's out there, and they think, oh, it's great, the Arts Commission has this program, the city has this program, but until you're actually out there and see cars stopping and honking and giving thumbs up and shout outs to artists and people walking by their neighbors and thanking and saying, who do I write to thank for this, to really understand the community engagement component of these projects and what it does for the lifeblood of our community and bringing people of all ages and backgrounds all around art. It just tears down the barriers. And so I just want to express that, and I hope that all of our city council members and all of our community members will get out there and take a look at these works of art and think about that. I also want to just mention, because I'm the liaison to the Museum of Neon Art, that they have a current exhibition that's up right now through June 19th. They're also looking at doing a fundraiser on August 13th for the next exhibition, which is Hats Off to Hollywood. So keep an eye out for that at neonmona.org. And also Antias Theater, which I know is coming soon. We're all getting very excited. They're about 4 weeks into their construction right now, just as an update on that. And they recently had a reading over at the Alex Theater out in the courtyard that I was able to attend. And so just encouraging people to kind of get involved with that group too, because they're doing an exceptional job, I think, at really reaching out to the community and trying to bring everybody together around the classics and around their terrific work that they do. And they're really recognizable artists that are involved and just really committed group. And that they are also targeted for their fall opening here in Glendale for their next season. And they've got another show that's opening, I think, in about a week over at their other current, for their last show of their current space in North Hollywood. So if you want to know more about them and see a full production before the fall, go to their website and look at and support our one of our newest organizations moving to Glendale.
Anybody else?
Sure. I would just echo what Commissioner Deaver said. I think as a first-time commissioner working on this project, that was the one part I did not expect. I was not thinking about, besides selecting the art, having the artists come out there and work, the interaction with the community members was great, and to see how many neighbors are impacted by this, which on most days we would never know, but on that day when you see the artists actually working on it and bringing that new addition to the community, you really see that impact. So it was great to be part of it, and just kudos to Sharon, Chuck, the entire staff. We really appreciate all your work on this. They really turned out great, and you can already see the impact on the community.
Could I say something? Is there a possibility that we could have the neighbors kind of be informed ahead of time so they could join as well? Some did, and they honked and they said thank you, but if it's possible, because it's in their own neighborhood, I would have loved if it is in my neighborhood, if I would get a buzz exactly on the date, because we assume people know a lot of things, but they don't. So it would be great, because they're doing a fantastic job. They make it so pretty. The neighborhood looks so great. So it would be great if we could do
so
that.
Noted. We really see that as an opportunity for our next wave. Our next wave is going to be along Glendale Avenue near the corner of Glendale and Colorado. Real bustling, very highly dense neighborhood. We're hoping, people of all generations come out and participate in that activity. I just wanted to recognize my staff, Chuck and Yvonne, for the phenomenal job they did in putting all this together. The behind-the-scenes work was just incredible. And me, as a new person in this role, I'm getting a lot of credit, but the credit is due to them. They always let me know the things that I need to know without me asking, and they just did an outstanding job. So we see up from here. We love the art. We think the art is amazing. We think our utility box art is superior to other cities, if we can brag a little bit. And we're just looking forward to that next wave. So thanks very much.
I want to conclude a few points that I discovered while I was talking to the artists and while we were visiting their area where they were working. I want to thank, first of all, their families, their parents. I seen some parents, they were helping their kids. Some brothers and sisters were there. Some younger cousins were there with their cookies and hot tea. Saturday afternoon was kind of chilly a little bit. The volunteers, generally, they stopped by, and somebody came from GCC and said, "Can I help?" No name, nothing, and she was just helping the artist. And I want to thank the staff, that they did an excellent job. And I want to thank also a small pet. There was a dog next to the artist. He was watching the painting, and this guy was really amazing. While we were visiting and talking to the artist and neighbors and visitors, a lot of suggestions came by. A lot of people talk if, and if. What I would like to do is at least write those things, pass it to you, and all my commissioners. Let's put those ideas together and pass it to you. I know we cannot discuss these things now, but at least you'll have those information for the next one. We can be a little more prepared, public PR, pictures, all those details. And some artists, they even had an ideas, why don't you do this? So therefore, give us a chance, probably a week or two or till a month. Let's put those ideas together, email it to you. You have them on the records. And then you can, while we're doing the second phase or the fifth phase of this program, we can discuss it in more detail and we can implement them. Again, thank you everyone that we enjoyed this Saturday, and thank you for the staff. All right.
One more thing. Thank you for the name tags. For a lifetime, we were asking for having a art and culture commission name tag, and that was great and on time, and we will be using it whenever we go, because that way it makes us legitimate, kind of.
Go ahead.
That we are there representing the city. Thank you.
Wasn't there an idea of the block party? Didn't we speak about that last time, Chuck, with the painting, the utility box painting, and having a block party and getting the whole block involved? Isn't that an idea like that? It didn't happen this time, but hopefully next time, yeah?
Commissioner Oshkan, I think with our next wave, since we'll be in such a dense community, I think that's actually a little bit more possible. I think the wave that we had now is a really residential kind of suburban area where you may only have 5, 6, 10 houses that are adjacent, but looking at that area along Glendale Avenue and over on Colorado, lots of dense apartment buildings, lots of people live around there, lots of reasons to come out and see what's going on. So I think that's a well-taken idea, and we'll move that forward.
Sounds great. Next item.
Item 7, written communications.
Done? All right. Then 8th item. The meeting is adjourned. Guys.